Hello everybody, this is Albert with Green Tea House. I hope you're doing well today. Today I'm going to exhort you to break free of the chains of black tea and what that exactly means. Now before I begin, if you're ever in Central Texas, halfway between San Antonio and Austin, come visit us here in New Braunfels, Texas. We're in a little hamlet called Green. We'd love to meet you. Subscribe and hit the notification bells because that helps with the algorithm. If you find and appreciate our content at all, please do this. It's a little way to help us out. And of course, post a comment. So what do I mean by breaking free of the shackles of black tea? I think you know what I mean. Like the majority of people, when they think of tea, they think of two things. I would say three things. Black tea, either in the form of iced tea or just the patrimony, the heritage that we received from England, which is going to be English breakfast blends, Irish breakfast blends, Earl Greys, Lady Greys, just the black teas. We think of afternoon tea parties and Bridgerton and stuff like that. That'd be one. The other one is tisanes. So when you ask people, what kind of tea do you drink? Lots of times, oh, I love peppermint, I love chamomile. Well, that's not from the tea plant. That's not from Camellia sinensis. But understandably so, people will use the moniker tea behind those things, but those are not tea. And then the third thing is they're like, yeah, we know green tea, I've heard of it, yeah, I've had it, I didn't really like it, I know it's really healthy for me. So when it comes to those things, really the majority of people drink black tea. And if you even take away the iced tea market, the Arizona, the Snapple, the commodity export market, which is of course black tea, iced tea is black tea, it's CT seed, chopped up black tea. Even if you take that away, the majority of tea that's drunk in America is black tea. And this is because of the patrimony that we got from England. We have a history of tea playlist that we have here. I'll try to remember to put the banner up here. It's quite extensive as to, we talk about how that came about. There was a time that green tea, like Hyson, was being consumed just as much as black tea, but there were certain events that changed where the English started to drink more black tea, and therefore the colonies started to drink more black tea as well. And what do I mean by the chains of black tea? So look, I observe everything that comes into this tea store. You know, we've been open over a year now. The majority of people who come here, even though we have about 60 teas, we have maybe 12 black teas. The majority of people will gravitate toward the blacks, and maybe they'll look at the tisanes. And then if I mention how pu'er is good for your gut health, they might look at the pu'er. But they go to what they know. Totally understandable. And what do they know? It's black tea. Right? They've heard of Earl Grey. They might not know what makes an Earl Grey different than a Keeman or a Lapsang or a cinnamon black or a Darjeeling or whatever it is, but that's what they know. And so they'll choose what they know. And what I exhort people is break free of that. It's like growing up eating jambalaya rice, Cajun rice, your whole life. And understandably so, if you grow up in southern Louisiana, you think that's rice. So when you go to China or Vietnam, you're like, where's the jambalaya? They're going to give you a look like, what are you talking about? But that's rice. That's what I know of rice. They're like, what are you talking about? And it's the same thing with tea. If you look at global consumption of tea, tea is so much more than black tea, especially CTC, chopped, torn, curled, low-grade, inferior fanning tea. But how would you know that? You wouldn't know that if you grew up with the patrimony of just drinking the aforementioned Lipton or Twinings or whatever, black tea. And I would say break free of those chains, because tea, if you look at globally, oolongs and whites and greens are consumed so much more, and honestly they're better for you and they're better taste, but you'll never know that unless you break free from what you know and try something different. And so when you're looking at black teas like on the table, and you're like, yeah, I know green tea is healthy, but I've had it a couple times, and it's always microwave water, full boil water for 7 minutes, and it's Lipton tea bag or whatever, and yeah, I didn't like it. Well, of course they didn't like it because they were not educated on how to brew it the right way. And when you brew the lighter teas like the greens and the whites the right way, they are sublime. So you can understand why people have trepidation when it's leaving your creature comfort to trying something different. But how are you going to know oolong is so amazing, like a dong ding, unless you try it? How do we know Dragon Well is an amazing green tea? Unless you try it. Silver Needle White, unless you try it. Imagine if your life was just eating vanilla and chocolate ice cream your whole life. You wouldn't know the beauties of all the different flavors of ice cream. And so you don't want to be corralled into drinking the same tea your whole life. Black tea is great. I drink black tea very sparingly among the 6 categories that come from the tea plant. I drink it the least, and when I do drink it, it's either Darjeelings, which are light blacks, or Lapsang, which is the pine smoked black. But you got to break free of that. Break free from, just try the craziest teas. Try the teas like Gyokuro, the shaded green teas from Japan that are just amazing. They're amazing for your health. Just branch out. And in the long run, you will appreciate that. And your health will appreciate it. Because look, tea is healthy. Black tea is healthy. Comes from Camellia sinensis. But out of the 6 categories that come from the tea plant, black tea is the least healthy when it comes to catechins and polyphenols, things that fight against disease and whatnot. So start from where you know and work your way out. And that's why we do flights here, because flights are a way for you to expand your taste profile. And leave the blacks and go close by. Go like a highly oxidized oolong like Black Dragon. Or just jump into whites and greens and just try something different. Because in the long run, you'll really be a true connoisseur of tea, and your body will appreciate it because of the health benefits. It's like saying, I love wine, but you're only drinking a rosé your whole life. And people who love wine, they're like, oh my God, you're missing out. And that's what I want to tell people when they come. It's like, you're missing out. Don't get the Earl Grey or Blue Flower Earl Grey is great, but try something different. Guys, post in the comments. Let me know. Have you broke free from the chains of black tea? I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care. God bless.